This is the case of Judith Barsi. Let me get started, as I always do, with some background on Judith. She was born in July of 1978 in Los Angeles, California. Her parents were Joseph and Maria Barsi. They were both immigrants from Hungary. They had immigrated separately. They did not know each other in Hungary, but both had left during an uprising in 1956, and they had come to America. They met in a restaurant where Maria was working as a waitress. Joseph was a customer of this restaurant. He worked as a plumber. Both of them had been married previously. So they began dating. They hit it off. They got married, and Maria gave birth to Judith. Judith was an only child. Now, Maria always wanted Judith to become an actress. So right away, at a very young age, she started teaching her about things like posture and poise and how to speak. And it paid off pretty early on, in fact. When Judith was only 5 years old, she was at an ice skating rink, and there happened to be a film crew there, and they spotted her. She was a very petite girl, and at 5 years old, she looked to be maybe 3, and she was skating so beautifully that right away they invited her to be in a commercial for Donald Duck orange juice. And that was the beginning. She went on to be in many, many commercials, such as Campbell's Soup, Toys R Us, and Jif Peanut Butter. The fact that she was so small actually worked in her favor, because in Hollywood it meant that she would be more capable than an actor who was the age of the character. Her first acting role was in 1984 when she played the role of a 3-year-old in a miniseries called Fatal Attraction. It was about a father who went on to kill her. She went on to appear in more than 70 commercials and guest roles on television. Some examples were Cheers, Knots Landing, The Twilight Zone, Growing Pains, The Fall Guy, Punky Brewster, The Love Boat, and many, many more shows. She was also in several films, including Jaws, The Revenge, and she provided the voices of Ducky in The Land Before Time and Anne-Marie in All Dogs Go to Heaven. Maria, Judith's mother, tried to keep Judith's life as normal as she could for her. She made her stay she was obviously very supportive since it was her idea, but whenever Judith was going to have a commercial on TV or an episode aired that she was in, her mom would pop up some popcorn and they would sit together and watch. By the time she started 4th grade, Judith was earning $100,000 per year, which is equivalent to well over $200,000 today. Her family used this money to purchase a 3-bedroom house in the Canoga Park neighborhood at the western edge of the San Fernando Valley. By the time Judith was 10 years old, she was only 3'8", and she actually went on hormone treatments to try to grow bigger. But as I mentioned before, her size was still being very helpful to her career, because as a 10-year-old, she could easily play 7 or 8-year-olds, but she was so much more able to read and follow instructions than an actor who actually was 7 or 8 years old. So that is part of why she was doing so well. But even though everything I've said so far sounds really great, it wasn't as great as it seems. You see, her father, Joseph, was a very angry alcoholic, and he tended to take all of his anger out on Judith and her mother, Maria. And the fact that Judith was so successful actually made him jealous and enraged, rather than proud and excited about the success of his daughter. Many times he threatened Maria that he would kill her, or even worse, that he wouldn't kill her, but that he would kill Judith. He even told many people outside, like his friends, that he wanted to kill his family. One friend recalls that Joseph told him hundreds of times that he wanted to kill his wife. The man said, quote, "I'd try to calm him down. I'd tell him, if you kill her, what will happen to your little one?" And he said that Joseph's response was, quote, "I gotta kill her too." The day that Judith was getting ready to fly to the Bahamas to film Jaws: The Revenge, Joseph held a knife up to her and he said, quote, "If you decide not to come back, I will cut your throat." Joseph's drinking wound up causing him to be arrested 3 times for DUI. And there was even a time when Maria called the police during a domestic dispute, but when the police came and they found no signs of any physical abuse, she decided not to press charges. My daddy is drunk every day, and I know he wants to kill my mother. All of this abuse was obviously affecting Judith in a very severe way. She began to gain weight. She started pulling out all of her eyelashes. And one day she had a full breakdown in front of her agent, and her agent told her mom that she needs to go to a psychologist. So Maria brought her to a psychologist who came to the realization that Judith was the victim of emotional and physical abuse, and she contacted Child Protective Services. Maria told the caseworker from CPS that she was going to begin divorce proceedings against Joseph, and that she and Judith were going to move into a Panorama City apartment that she had rented to spend days in. She would return to the family home with Judith at night, but ultimately she planned on divorcing. So the investigation by CPS was dropped. They assumed that Maria was following a plan that would keep her safe. But sadly, that's not how it went. It was July 25th, 1988, and Judith and Maria were still living in the house with Joseph. And Maria had not yet brought up the topic of divorce, as far as we know. Well, that night, for whatever reason, he went into Judith's bedroom while she was sleeping, and he shot her in the head, and she instantly died. Her mother heard the shot, of course, and came running out into the hallway where she met up with Joseph and his gun, and he proceeded to shoot her as well. And she died as well, sadly. Then, for some reason, he stayed in the house with both of their bodies for the next 2 days. Maybe he was trying to figure out what to do next. I don't know. But 2 days later, on the 27th of July, in the morning, he doused them both with gasoline. He lit the house on fire. He went down into the garage, and he took his own life. Now, the next door neighbor heard the gunshot and called the police right away. And this neighbor, although they were very horrified, they suspected that he would do something like this. At the time of their deaths, Joseph was 55, Maria was 48, rest in peace to both of them. Now, what can we say about Joseph? Why did he do such an evil thing? All because Judith was successful. Was that it? Was he just so jealous and enraged with her being so much, I guess, better than him in his mind? Was that it? Or was it that he knew that it was just a matter of time before the two of them left him due to his own terrible behavior? And he figured, if I can't have you, then no one else can. Was it that? Was it a combination of both? Or are we wasting our time even trying to get into the mind of this evil killer? Maybe that's the right answer. There is no logical or rational explanation for what he did, obviously. But what a terrible loss for both of the victims. But of course, when it is somebody so young as Judith was, only 10, that really tugs at our heartstrings even more. And looked like she was heading for a very successful career, but even if she wasn't, even if her career was going to go nowhere and she was going to become a regular, everyday person like the rest of us, still, she had so much life ahead of her. It is just unbelievably tragic. Now, this happened back in 1988, so you would think that by now things like this shouldn't happen, but we know that they do. We would say, well, CPS should not have dropped the case. They shouldn't have just assumed that this plan was good enough. They should have gotten Judith out of the house right away. Right? That's what we might be thinking. Because we want to blame someone, right? We want to blame someone in addition to Joseph, I should say. But in truth, we know that even today in 2023, CPS and agencies like that don't always do what we wish they would have done. And that is very tragic.